What's up, everyone? I am the Kaiju no Kami, and today I'm going to take a look at a Toku series that has been nearly lost to history thanks to corporate greed. 1972's Thunder Mask.
Long ago in a distant land, I, Osamu Tezuka, the father of manga, unleashed an Ultraman-esque show. But a foolish television network wielding the power of script editing stepped forth to oppose me. When the show was done, I pulled out my creator's card and ordered the master copies to be destroyed. Now some foolish reviewer seeks to return the show to history and undo the decision that is Tezuka.
At least, that's what the internet will tell you that happened, is that Tezuka hated the show so much he ordered the master copies destroyed, or the master copies were destroyed in a fire, or something like that. But I actually went out and spoke to August Ragone, author of this A.G. Tsuburaya book, about if he knew anything about Thunder Mask, and he actually had a lot of information he did give me.
First up, it turns out that Tezuka had no control over the series at all. Nor are the 8 episodes available to watch online survivors, but rather the episodes that were recorded when people caught reruns of the show on local channels, such as Saitama's TVS. These episodes were then passed around outside of Japan, similarly to how fan subs moved across the US. In reality, 2 of the production companies involved with Thunder Mask got into a dispute over the ownership of the show, which resulted in one of the companies confiscating the prints and negatives and locking them away as if they were a child having a temper tantrum.
That's my house! Come on! Come on, you little oink oink! Mom!
Even today, the company refuses to release their hold on the show, sometimes stating the masters are in too poor shape to do so, other times saying they only have the negatives and not the prints, to then claiming not to have them at all. It's quite a shame that the show has to suffer for this rights dispute to the point where it now exists in a zombie state in the form of really, really bad videotape rips.
And I mean really bad. Like, take a look at this scene from the final scene of the final episode of the series.
心の中で永遠に輝き続ける星でもあった。さらば勇者。
Ugh. Talk about completely destroying the emotions you could be feeling from that final battle.
The worst part about it is the episodes that were recorded are in random order: 1, 3, 6, 7, 12, 13, 19, and 26. That makes it hard to keep track of things that are going on.
Nevertheless, I am going to do my best to give this the best review possible as I sat down and struggled to binge this other borefest. Oh crap! I shouldn't have said going to give it the best review possible. Oh crap! I shouldn't have said struggled. Oh crap! I most certainly shouldn't have said utter borefest. Oh, it is way too hot today.
The heroes.
Like with Ultraman, Thunder Mask features a man who can transform into a superhero that can change sizes.
His name is Koichi Inochi, and he is played by Kazuchi Sakihara. Koichi was sent to Earth by an alien task force known as the Thunderstars Commonwealth to protect the planet from an alien menace. However, he arrived on Earth 10,000 years too early, and as such, he decided to put himself into a long slumber while leaving the inhabitants of the planet a record of the alien invasion, along with instructions on how to awaken him when this invasion begins. Koichi seems to be your average one-dimensional protagonist who has a personality as flat as cardboard, but is always there to help someone in need. At least, that is how he is portrayed in the episodes available. He also seems to have a problem keeping his anger in check, as was the case when an alien impersonated his sister.
Yeah, dude, you're not doing yourself any favors.
If I were to rate him on a scale of Ultraman series, he would definitely be an Ultraman ace, as he is his blandest Hokuto. As Thunder Mask, Koichi can stay human-sized to fight the evil villains or grow big to battle Kaiju. He's got a wide array of attacks and doesn't seem to have a time limit on his powers like the Ultraman do. Though, it is nice to see he's not totally invincible. Speaking of things related to Ace, let's talk about the Science Patrol, who manages to make Tak look competent. In the first episode, the Science Patrol, led by Captain Yano, are supposed to protect 3 scientists who are trying to awaken Thunder Mask. Instead, they end up letting them die. The first time one dies, it is because the entire team ran off to check out a monster attack, leaving the scientist to fend for himself. The second scientist meets his end in his own home that was surrounded by guards because they didn't consider the villain would take the form of the family's maid.
Oh, and this is after Yano says this.
ママ、気を楽にしてください。警備は完璧です。警備は完璧です。
Oh, wait, you serious? Let me laugh even harder.
As for the third, well, watch for yourself, as it's what everyone else decided to do. God, these guys are dumb.
At some point, Yano disappears and is replaced with Captain Fuji. I have no idea when this happens, how it happens, or why it happens, as it happens between the missing batch of episodes. To make matters worse, given that Fuji has no introduction in these episodes, and I don't even know when the switch occurred, I've got nothing to say on the matter. Fuji is just there. Now, the son and daughter to the third scientist who died are prominent characters and the ones who befriend Koichi because of course they do. Their names are Katsuya and Mayumi Takase. They seem to be there as your typical protagonists who need to be rescued a lot, but what puzzles me is why the villains intentionally leave them alive after Koichi has given in to their demands instead of killing them where they lie. There is one episode where the villain kidnaps Mayumi after hitting her with some tires, using her as bait to capture Koichi, and then returns her to the spot where she was kidnapped at with her memory erased as if nothing happened.
Why would you do that? Why would you just not kill her and then not have to worry about her going after your plans and stopping you and interfering later on?
奴の死体は破壊ダーの餌にちょうどいいのだ。
そんなことさせるもんですか。
どこへ隠した。
たとえ知ってても教えるもんですか。
さもなくば。
知らないわ。
よいか。
そんな脅しに私たちが乗ると思ってるの。
東京はこうなるのだ。
Beyond them, there are a couple of scientists that seem to be important, though, like Fuji, since I don't know the context of their characters, I can't say for certain. But given they appear in half of the episodes present, I'm going to assume they are, which is nice since everyone seems to have the wit of a sloth in the show. The villains.
The villains are an alien menace known as... well, I actually don't know what they're called. I don't recall the show ever telling me. I just know the main villain dude is named Devil Dakanda. And not Darkonda like Power Rangers. Dakanda. Yeah. I've got nothing.
The first villain to appear is the reptilian Devil Dakanda I just mentioned.
アジュコンコルよ。悪魔の魂を持つコンコルよ。お前の強大な力を見せてやれ。
Like everyone else, Dakanda is one-dimensional, but at least he seems to be having fun trying to destroy the world. There is one instance where he decides to base his entire plot off of a manga serial and then gets mad when the creator changes his storyline, even down to telling the creator how the story is going to continue.
そこでわしはお前の原稿に手を入れてやった。言うなればお前の良さを認めているのはこのわしだけなのだ。
He has no field commanders to speak of and will often lead the charge of battle himself, which seems quite shocking for the leader of the villains, only to learn episodes later that he is not the true leader of the invasionary forces, he actually is the field commander. His boss is a skeleton-looking creature called Great Devil Bemking. I like Bemking's design, but given he only appears in 2 of the 8 episodes, I've got nothing of value to speak on.
他に手立てがあるというのか。
There was another soldier named Shooting Star Iron Mask who attempted to take on Thunder Mask for 2 episodes without success by posing as his sister. The monsters of the week are mostly just a bunch of brainless kaijus with an occasional one that changes sizes. Interestingly enough, one of the monsters is named Megatron.
Oh, yes.
And then we have Hakaider.
No, not that Hakaider, although that would have made things far more interesting.
The last episode of the show also features some grunts that just magically appear out of nowhere. The effects and music.
The effects are kinda hard to discuss in this aspect given the really shitty video quality, but from what I can make out, they're not exactly all that great, even by 70s standards. Like, even the effects work in Ultraman Ace seem to be much better than the effects work here.
The monster in the first episode looks more like a toy in its flying scenes rather than a monster, and the buildings are not all that impressive. The fight choreography isn't anything to write home about either, which is a shame. On the positive side, I didn't notice any wires, so that's something, right?
Yeah, you try to see wires with that video quality. Oh god, it looks like a pay-per-view event that you didn't buy the pay-per-view event for, but you're trying to watch it anyway.
Most fans will probably also recognize these roars from the monsters. Nidai Nakamura composed the music of the show, and it works. There are a couple of tracks I did enjoy, such as these.
EC350S ここにはないな。国立レーザー研究所にある。どうする？
While others, not so much. It's your typical Showa era soundtrack, love it or hate it. The opening and ending themes do nothing for me at all. Except I want to scream cats ho every time I hear this. Shut up! The opening is just a little too repetitious for my taste, while the ending is...
Well, an ending theme.
The episodes.
Given the hardships induced with trying to figure out a cohesive narrative among these 8 scattered episodes, it's kind of really hard to just talk about the show and how the episodes are. So I'm going to mostly focus on my least favorite and favorite episodes, but I do want to mention that this show was written by Shozu Uehara, or at least a bunch of the episodes were, and episodes were directed by Ishiro Honda. So there is some coolness in those aspects. It's just a shame that we have to, deal with it like this, because, again, corporate greed. Bummer. Oh well.
My least favorite episode is episode 19, titled Thunder Mask Goes Crazy. This one starts out well with some cop lady arresting a couple of people that are apparently high on paint thinner.
Wait. Was getting high on paint thinner a thing in the 70s? I didn't even know you could do that. Okay, carry on.
Anyway, it turns out the female cop is Dekanda in disguise and then feeds the couple to his monster that eats the brains of those high on paint thinner.
Okay, that imagery may be the most terrifying and coolest scene of the entire series. Too bad this episode sucks. Get it? I'll shut up now.
Dakanda then finds a brain surgeon and hypnotizes him into helping him switch Koichi's brain with this monsters after kidnapping Mayumi.
手術は成功です。命光一の頭の中にシンナーマンの脳みそが間違いなく入りました。
The editing in this scene just confuses me because Koichi knows something is wrong, but then suddenly jumps into a field to fight the monster, and then comes back into the lab to give in to the surgeon's demands.
Say what? You know what? I'm done.
I'm done talking about this episode because none of this makes any sense. The editing is just so damn atrocious. In fact, that is one of the biggest issues with this show is that the editing is all over the place. There have been several times in these 8 episodes where the editing left me vexed as to what exactly was happening on screen. As for my favorite episode, it is Cruelty Thunder Mask. Punishment of Death. This is the episode that features Shooting Star Iron Mask disguising himself as Koichi's sister. I did think it was pretty interesting to have him reveal himself early on in the episode to be disguised as his sister and making everyone think Koichi has gone crazy, especially when he starts punching the crap out of her.
こいつは妹じゃない。悪魔の使いだ。妹の首を絞めるなんて君こそ悪魔だよ。みんな騙されているんだ。いくら兄弟喧嘩だからといって女の子に暴力を振るうのは良くないな。弱い者いじめはやめろ。
Oh, and I have to laugh at how Japan loves crucifying their superheroes in these shows.
I just want to hang around you.
Alright, so this is tough to really want to give this show a score because I honestly didn't really enjoy most of the episodes I watched. Even the first episode I was kind of like, this just isn't that good. And I'm not sure if it is because of the horrible piss poor video quality or if it's just the show's not for me. However, no matter what, I just didn't care for the characters. I didn't care for what was going on. I found the show to be subpar for the episodes I did watch, even without taking a cohesive narrative into account. So, I don't know. I guess I'm going to have to give it a rating of 1 out of 5 grown-ups in spandex. Now, who knows? Maybe if we could actually see the show again in a proper format with proper video quality and all 26 episodes, I might feel differently. But again, like I said, I didn't even care for the first episode. In fact, watching the first episode made me go, man, would I really even want to watch 25 more episodes of this show? And then when I watched episode 3, I'm like, I don't know if I'd want to continue watching this show, even if I did have the whole thing. It's just not really that good in the long run. So, take it or leave it. I mean, it's only 8 episodes. Maybe you'll find something to enjoy in the midst of that terrible video quality. If you're curious, check it out. If you don't care at all, then there's really no point to even trying to care. I mean, it's cool from a historical point to go, wow, this is a show that's locked away in a vault and may never get released properly. But otherwise, yeah, I've got nothing. Thank you once again, August. And until next time, bye.
Yes. Yes!